What's going on, y'all? Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Guess what? It's Monday. And we here. Do me a favor, real quick before we get started. Hit that like button. Smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now, ASAP. Topics to be covered. What are we talking about today? What do we talk about? We got to talk about these experts. Oh, we got to talk about these experts. We're going to get into it. As you guys know, it is a talk show. So for whatever reason or at any time you want to call in, you can do that by calling 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we could talk about whatever you want, agreements, disagreements. I'm all here for it all. So you can do that. For whatever reason, if you cannot call in because you're at work or you're babysitting or you got kids or whatever, you can send your question or comments or support the show by going to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. The link is in the description, or go directly to YouTube and hit the super chat button and send your question or comments there, and I will comment live on air. We always have fun with those. So I have a few that I have to get to from last week that I plan on doing that. Mods, remind me to get to those super chats from last week, from the noodle challenge, the spicy noodle challenge. There was some super chats that I just didn't have time to get to, so I want to get to those. And if you didn't see the Spicy Noodle Challenge episode, that was my 100th episode on Thursday. You can podcast that later and check that out. Jesse Lee Peterson was on. We had the American Incubator. We had the Hake Report. And we just ate some spicy noodles. And we also had producer Sean. And it was just a fun episode, so make sure you check that out when you get a chance. Cool? Amazing stuff. Shout out to the Mod Squad holding it down. Let me see. Guys, the white fingernail. Joel growing a new eyelid. Dang, you guys can see it? Dang, I was trying to hide it. You can see it, especially when I look this way. I know. But I got it under control. It was both of them. Look, it was both of them, and now this one's down. So I don't need an expert. I don't need an expert. We're going to get into it today. Reminding you to get the super chats from last week. Joel, breast milk, the only thing that safely cures all eye infections fast. I wasn't breastfed as a child, and I ain't got no wife. So it ain't looking like I'm getting any breast milk anytime soon. So thanks for the tip, but it ain't happening. But I heard black tea. I've been putting black tea on it recently, and it's supposed to like bring down the inflammation. So man, it's been a mess. Looking like the Mac between rounds. Listen, what I've been telling people is I got punched, but you should see the other guy. Like I've been telling people that, and it's been working for me for the ladies. The ladies been looking at me like, ooh, alpha male. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. And I've been getting all the girls. So that's what I'm going with. And I'm sticking to it. Joel don't know better than me. Listen, Terry Strange. We can't talk until you get into a burqa. You're not in a burqa, we're not talking. And Terry Strange was my wife, but we got divorced recently today because she refused to wear a burqa, and she refused to put our children in burqas, and then she denied our marriage, and then she expected me to have children with her but not be married. What? This is disobedience in its purest form, and I can't handle it. So I had to, I don't know, Terry, if today you have till today to hop in the burqa, Terry, or we're through. We're done. Today is the last day. Obey or go away. Jessica said, man. Oh my goodness. Seasal said, shameful Terry. Tell her, Seasal, tell Terry that she's wilding out, because everybody knows, Seasal, that you are at home with your husband in your burqa. Everybody knows this, and we know this to be factual. And Seasal, I need your help to get these other ladies in the burqa. It's a must. A Christian burqa, Hicks says. I like to obey or go away. I'm telling you. Jessica gets it. Jessica gets it. Seaside Terry, you better put that dang burqa on and cook that man a steak. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? Am I asking for too much? I gotta work. I gotta bring home the bacon. I gotta take all the hits. I gotta get beat up. I gotta take the punches. I gotta endure. And I can't even get a burqa and a steak? What has this world come to? It's not fair. I'm a victim. And this is just not right. Terry says, I can't cook in a burqa. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're through. Anyways, let me get to the topic at hand. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to Terry. Terry Strange. Amazing stuff. So I wanted to talk about experts, but I want to also talk good stuff about experts so that YouTube doesn't take me down. But I want to talk about experts because I realized that the only way to like really overcome and make sure you're on the right path is to get to know yourself, right? And I realized that the experts were only created to help, but keep you from seeing yourself. That's what it has evolved to, right? Because I can just imagine in the old days before all these like titles and degrees were even a thing, there was no experts. There was no experts. Nobody needed an expert because everybody knew that they were in control of their own lives. And they knew that they ran their lives and they knew how to understand things. Now there was people that had a certain expertise to where you went to them if you needed to, and that's where experts are okay, right? But we shouldn't like rely on them like we do now. And I'm gonna bring you some examples that might be helpful in understanding what I'm talking about, because nowadays experts really, in all honesty, really just getting away from you looking within and knowing the truth. They really just get in your way. And I'm trying to understand why we're okay with that. Dang, I'm way off center. Let me see. Rick said he would hang on. Okay, cool. And I will get to you soon. Call us 888-775-3773. Oh, shoot. Cool. So I went to a doctor one time, and this is kind of where everything kind of changed for me. Not everything, but just like how I view the experts. Is that like I went to a doctor, and it was before I got knee surgery on my knee. And I had a lot of like swelling, inflammation. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, here, take these ibuprofen pills for the pain and to stop the inflammation, to bring down the inflammation. I was like, okay. He's like, finish the whole bottle, and when you run out, just refill. I was like, okay, doc, thank you, sir. And I went about my day, and then I was taking the pills and then taking them every day and bringing the inflammation down, and then ran out of pills, and I would re-up and blah, blah, blah. And I kept doing it. And I'm like, this is interesting. And then somebody stopped me, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm doing what the doctor told me. They're like, why are you taking those ibuprofens every single day? Are you crazy? And I didn't know that it can mess up my kidneys or my insides, right? I didn't know that. But the doc said, just take these pills. It'll help. And I listened. And after that point, I'm like, nope. Not listening to the doctors. I'm not just trusting doctors. Now, I'm not saying that it's not okay to go and get a checkup. I'm not saying that it's not okay, that it's not okay to go see a doctor. I'm saying is that they shouldn't be the decision makers of what's wrong with you. You got to know first. You got to know first, because they don't know your body. They don't know you like you know you, right? And I realized that when I pay attention just to what's going on, you start to just see, like observing yourself, you kind of see when you need to do certain things. Or you see like, oh, okay, this is out of control. Then you go. But let me give you a couple more examples. My relationships have been ruined blindly listening to pastors and blindly just adopting their information and using it. And my relationship's ruined. And it's not the pastor's fault. It's not the pastor's fault. It's me taking the information, whether right or wrong, and applying it without knowing that I know. And it ruined the relationships. And I was like, interesting. I really just used my whole relationship based off of what I heard you should do and the way you should approach it. And I did that. And it didn't work. It failed. I'm like, okay. And then it don't stop there. And then as I was starting to get better with my health and making, better choices and getting better at like diet and stuff like that, I started like eating healthier foods. And then I started eating like these protein bars, right? Because I there's these certain protein bars. I won't say them on air, but there's certain protein bars that I like. So I would get them. And I'm not a caffeine drinker, as you guys know. I don't drink coffee or anything. So I have a very I don't know if it would be a low tolerance or a high tolerance for caffeine. Like I can recognize it. And I'm eating these protein bars. And I'm like, I'm feeling good right now. This is nice. And then I'm realizing that these protein bars, a lot of them have caffeine in them. And my theory is that because protein bars don't taste well, they don't taste good, they don't taste better than the Oreo cookie or the whatever, right? What they do is they have to somehow make you come back for more. So they put a little caffeine in there and protein and say, look, this is protein. And not only is it good for you, but it makes you feel good. Not even realizing that it's just the caffeine that's in it, making you think it's feeling good. So I was like, what the? And I'm like, you know what? And I'm just, over time, I just start to realize that if I don't just observe myself, if I don't know for myself, I'm going to be led astray. Because I keep getting led astray by just trusting in these experts. Right? I keep getting led astray. I kept getting led astray by trusting these experts. And they don't care. They got their own lives to worry about. They ain't thinking about me. So I started to really look within myself and pay attention for myself and then really know for myself. And when it comes to going to the doctor, when you need to go to the doctor. And I know there's a lot of people out there that run to the doctor for everything. I have family members who just run to the doctor for everything, and they're proud of it. They're like, as soon as I get this, I go to the doctor. But it's if you pay attention to yourself, you'll understand what your body needs and what your body doesn't need. And I didn't even realize that was real until I just was doing it over time. And I don't count calories. I don't do all that stuff. I don't look at the labels. I base it off how it makes me feel or the end result. So I observe how it makes me feel. And I just pay attention to what it is. If anything changes, if I feel different, then I tell, oh, okay, well, that came from that. Right? Or if I eat a certain thing that says organic on it, like for example, I've eaten a lot of vegan things before. I've tried vegan things. I'm not big on plant-based. I like meat, chicken, steak. Give me the meat, right? But I tried some vegan things, these plant-based things, and some of the plant-based things. And plant-based is supposed to be so healthy. Some of the plant-based things didn't work for me. Now that's just me. Maybe other people it works for. I don't know I don't know what you got going on. But for me, I didn't feel. It didn't make me feel the best. So that tells me what? Okay, then you don't always gotta do the plant-based stuff. It's not for you. If you pay attention to the body will tell you exactly what it needs. And it'll tell you exactly what you need to do. And if for whatever reason you need to go to the doctor or you need to go get advice from the pastor or go to the nutritionist, then you'll know that you need to go. You won't have to run there. You won't have to do that. You'll know that you need a expert opinion on your health. So you got to know what's going on first. No, you didn't. You're lying, Terry. I don't see it. I don't see it, Terry. Where is it? And if you didn't make it in the burqa, I don't want it. It's not blessed. But if you observe yourself, and watch yourself, keep your eyes on yourself, and just pay attention to the things that you eat, then you start to realize that, what things are. Like, for example, I'm still trying to understand, like, a lot of people are saying, and I appreciate people's advice. They're telling me, like, about my eye. Like, go get it checked up and go see what it is. Go to a doctor and see and da-da-da. And I'm like, and I'm not denying it. I'm not saying that I shouldn't go or anything, but I just haven't had a reason to go yet because I'm still understanding what it is and make sense of it. But I do know that as my allergies have flared up during the season, I'll give you guys an example. As my allergies have been flaring up during the season, in every season, there's certain things. Now, this year has been crazy. I don't know what's in the air in LA. This year has been crazy, but this all came about due to allergies. And when it comes to allergies, the eyes get puffy or different breakouts happen, whatever the case is. So I just try to be aware of that and be like, oh, okay, well, think of the season. Think of how you've reacted in the past years when this thing's come up. Think of little other times where you've had similar outbreaks to the skin. And then you just connect the dots. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's making sense that it's allergies, right? Now, mind you, I've never had like a sty that has like been on the inside, like this one. But I've had a sty before and it sparked from my allergies. So I'm just waiting it out to see. This right one was kind of big too. And you guys were laughing at me about the right one, but look at the right one's down. All right? The right one's going down. So I'm just waiting it out and see. But I also noticed that whenever I eat something crazy or like overdo it with the sugar, it like amplifies the swelling. Right? And so it's like I have to start over. Every time I overdo it, I have to start back over. Okay, now I gotta get back on track. And I'm noticing these things are like what are like making it be more than what it is. And to be honest, at the very beginning, when it really started happening, it was because my immune system, in my own expert opinion, I could be wrong. It was because my immune system tanked. So it made me more susceptible. I think that's how you say it, to a reaction. And I knew that was going to happen. And I knew why it happened. And that always happens when I do that same thing that I always do. So I'm not saying I got all the answers to it. And I'm not saying that I don't need to go to the doctor and see what's going on. I'm just saying I'm paying attention. And that's what's helping me make sense of everything in all areas. But I'll tell you, back then they didn't have no doctors and stuff like that. They didn't have none of that stuff. And I'm grateful that we have it now. And if it's serious, you can get checked up. Yes, that's good stuff. Amen. And that's good. But I'm just saying that you gotta know what's going on first before you go get the second opinion. You gotta have the first opinion. You know what I mean? Or the doctors will tell you anything. They could tell you anything. And then have your mind going crazy. So anyway, You guys are probably like, this man is telling you what your body is telling you what's causing worse things. Your body is telling you what's causing worse things. I don't know what you mean, Nikki. Joel been thinking again. uh, Joel melting in front of I'm going crazy. Zorak 90, that's funny. Sugar is inflammatory, yes. That's what I'm saying. I didn't know that. How am I supposed to know that sugar is inflammatory? I didn't know it, except from experience. And when I tell people this, they're like, well, are you an expert? And I'm thinking like, did you know that the experts most of the time don't know what they're talking about? But they got the title, so you believe them? See, Sarah, you should be able to click on the profile. Oh. Jessica said, it's the salt they be shooting out into the sky. It's something. But flus and colds and fevers and sicknesses since moving to LA has been totally different than what I used to get. Even I don't really get sick that often. Terry Strange with a super chat out the gate. Not out the gate, but she says, the children are asking for you. Please come home. I'm not coming home, Terry, until you put the burqa on. And the children better have it too. I ain't coming home. You keep the children, and I ain't splitting them in half. If you ain't obeying, I ain't coming home. Zorak says, now Terry trolling. Anyway, I know I'm talking mess today. About the experts and all that stuff, but I just believe this stuff to be true. You just got to know yourself at the end of the day. Nothing wrong with doctors, nothing wrong with the pastors. We love the doctors, we love the pastors, we love the trainers, the scientists, the teachers, all these things. We love them. And they have a place. But know yourself so you'll know if you need the second opinion. But have you be the first opinion. Is all I'm saying. Just pay attention, and God will lead you in all ways. Let me get to some calls really quick. Of Aaron C has something to say out of Utah. Of Aaron C, welcome to the show, man. You're on there.
Hey, what's going on, my brother?
How's it going?
Going good, yeah, man. Pretty solid topic. I was surprised that your topics are kind of random. So when I saw this one, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. As far as not trusting doctors go, man, this topic just really goes along with my experience pretty heavily here.
Nice.
As far as trusting doctors, when I was in the Navy, man, I started having all these health problems. And all those doctors just made it 10 times worse. They just made I had a bunch of autoimmune issues, stuff like that. They all just made it worse. And this whole thing about just blindly following doctors is insane. My mom, she had a tiny little portion of like skin cancer removed from her face. And she now, when she goes out of the house, she makes sure she doesn't get any sun at all now. She puts a bunch of sunscreen on, wears one of those, one of them old lady hats, you know what I'm saying? That like, I'm talking about shield from the sun. And, so she virtually gets like no sun. I try to tell him like, look, man, it was something else that would have caused the skin cancer. Or maybe that one's still kind of a mystery. The jury's still out on that one. I think it's because people have I think their cells are polluted, and then so I think when that reacts with sunlight, maybe that's what causes. That's just my guess, but yeah, as far as trusting doctors goes, I mean, there is no reason to go to the doctor really at all unless it's some kind of emergency, kind of procedure,
Right.
I tell people, as far as having healthcare coverage goes, I think it's just kind of useless, honestly. And something else I can tell everyone out there too. I don't know if other vets out there might have the same experience, but I remember when I first got out of the military, I had to go to the VA to like reestablish care, to have medical insurance or whatever. And those VA doctors, hasn't been so much as of late. I mean, I'm in a different state. This was back in like California. Those VA doctors, man, they kept trying to get me hooked on them opiates, man.
Man, that is
like
for
when
sure.
I would go there, they would ask, they're like, "Are you sure you're not in any pain? You sure you don't want any Vicodin, any Percocet?" Yeah, they would ask me like multiple times, man. I'm just like, nah, I don't want that, man.
And that's so true. You're making a good point. Is that when I was younger, just to give a similar example, when I was younger, they try to say I had ADD or ADHD, right? They tell a lot of young kids, and they try to put me on the pills, right? And luckily, my mom was like, "No, this is, but I don't want them on," because she was a nurse, so she's seen how it turns people into zombies after a certain amount of time. And she told them no, but I'm grateful for that because at the end of the day, that wasn't my problem. The problem was like I didn't have any discipline. I wasn't focused. My dad wasn't around. That's one of the major things. And
I don't even think it's just that though, Joel. I don't even think it's just that. So I was also diagnosed with ADHD. Okay. My parents. I made my mom apologize for that too. I had to forgive my mama for that one. Because I'm serious. The ADHD, it's just like one molecule away from like amphetamine, and I took that stuff for years. And ADHD is one of those like made up disorders because young men, you and I, when we were young men, we were supposed to be moving around like that.
Yeah.
Man. We were supposed to have that energy.
Yeah.
We were supposed to be going nuts. That's just totally normal for a young, healthy male. And that's kind of it's a hell of a side note. But if you look at some of those fascist regimes, the way that they set up their schools, they incorporated a heavy physical activity element in there because they understood that. So yeah, the ADHD thing, that was brutal. I'm wondering if, because when I got out of the military several years ago, I had to spend years, reverse engineering these issues I had. I had anemia real bad. I had all these health problems.
Wow.
I had maybe a couple hours of energy per day. I would sleep sometimes for 12 hours. I'm being dead serious. I would sleep for like 10 or 12 hours and still be tired. It would feel like I didn't sleep at all. And yeah, like you said, at first I thought the secret was like an organic plant-based diet, but then I started learning. I did that for like a solid year or so.
Yeah.
Because in San Diego, that's kind of the thing. There's vegan stuff everywhere, but half of the people are vegan. I swear.
Yeah.
But I started realizing that that wasn't really the way to go. But it's been a long road. I pretty much I'm almost like fully recovered now. But yeah, those doctors,
But that's what I'm saying.
Just,
you're making a great point. You make me think even further. Like, I think that there is an element of the whole ADHD thing and the ADD thing, especially when I was younger, that there was an element of me just having a natural energy that was just untamed, right? That was undisciplined. But there was like a natural energy as well. But then they're quick to say just because my grades were slipping or whatever, they're gonna say here's these pills to help. But that's an expert that doesn't know the child's life or anything that's going on, and then they just throw the pills on the parents because it does, like, in a short term, it does have like some decent effects of focus or whatever, but in the long term, it messes you up and it screws you up. And I know people have friends who were zombies, and to where they, like you said, they had to reverse engineer their whole like way of life and their beliefs and all these things. And I'm just like, if you know yourself and get to know yourself and focus on that, then you can kind of see when you need to go or what it really is, opposed to just taking advice from people who don't know you and you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd pretty much point out the main issue with Western medicine there, and that is the short-term solution, but not the long-term.
Right.
And that's what when you have a problem, You want a solution. You want to permanently fix the problem. You don't
Right.
want to, treat it in the temporary. And that's all medication does. And I have several friends that are on pharmaceuticals as well. And I try to tell them, like, look, man, what's your long-term solution? You can't just take these pills to the day you die.
Right.
What's the long-term? But the doctor never discusses long-term. You hit
Right.
them with that question, they're just like, oh, I don't know.
Right.
And it's a rough challenge too, because there is only like one time, there's only like one situation where I could say it's justified to have someone on meds, and that's it. There are some people that if they're really crazy, off their meds,
Right.
maybe you got, I don't know. My friend, man, he's got this brother who's an ex-Marine, and he's all screwed up in the head, and he has like I think it's like psychosis, schizophrenia, something. But he gets a shot once a month. We had to take him to the VA in Vegas once a month to get a shot. He gets a shot in the back of his upper spine.
Yeah.
And man, I just feel so bad for him, man, because like when he first gets the shot, he doesn't seem to be right, and then like midway through the month, he seems to be acting more normal and happy, and then towards the end, when that shot's run, I guess when the effects are wearing off, maybe that's when things get bad. But it's like with that situation, I don't know what to do, because I'm the smart one of the crew here, and I'm trying to think like, man, long term, we got to get him off
The
this
stuff.
crap.
No,
we got to, but it,
Well, if I could just chime in really quick right there, is that it's interesting because we covered I think JLP covered a story. I think it was Jesse covered a story about a guy who said that he had killed his family, or he killed his wife and his daughter, and injured the son, and he said that the demons made him do that. And he kept saying that it wasn't me, it wasn't me, it was the demons, it was the demons. And we've seen multiple stories like this over time, how it's a spiritual issue. But the doctors had previously diagnosed him as schizophrenic, right? But he's saying that it's demons. He's saying it's the demons, the thoughts, the minds. And I think that oftentimes, and I'm not an like I said, I don't know the certain type of mental thing, because like you said, there's different people who have different things. But for me, when I observe these stories, I'm thinking like, these people are telling you what it is and what they're dealing with, but oftentimes people brush away the spiritual part. They just brush it away and say, oh, he's crazy. But oftentimes they're letting you know exactly what's going on. And I believe that it's the demons and the minds, the thoughts and the influences that make us do these things, opposed to an incurable thing like schizophrenic or what's the other thing there? ADHD, all these things.
Well, you're talking about these diagnoses. That's another issue. The whole Western medical system is in shambles, because not even the diagnosis or diagnoses, not even that's correct. Because like my friend, he gets 100% VA disability. You taxpayers out there, you got to pay this man about 4 racks per month the rest of his life, because he's diagnosed with schizophrenia. And it's like, he's not schizophrenic at all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This dude's like perfectly fine. He like works like a normal job. He's not schizophrenic. He's kind of low IQ. I mean, he's kind of dumb. You know what I'm saying? He's like a snowboarder, like surfer bro.
Oh, so he's like functionable. So he functions.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Fully functionable. Yeah, but he's just like an airhead. You know what I'm saying? He's not schizophrenic. That is the stupidest diagnosis I've ever heard of. He is not schizophrenic at all. He's just a dumb.
Yeah.
He's a dumb. That's my man, though.
Yeah.
But he's just a low IQ dude. You know what I'm saying? They're out there. And again, American taxpayers got to pay. Y'all got to pay $4,000 a month for this dude on top of the money he makes from work. So he just spends money like a kid in a candy store, man.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the problem. That's the problem, is that there's a bigger machine at work that's far beyond, as most people know, that comes down to power and money and all these different agendas. So it's a mess of RNC, but I appreciate your input on that, man.
Yeah, let me if I could just drop one more thing. Just one final thing, because real quick. Because you were talking about like, depending on how something makes you feel, that's if like you like it and continue to eat it. I don't know about that, man, because they mask a lot of stuff. For example, my whole life growing up, I was eating high fructose corn syrup and all that stuff, literally every single meal. I mean, it didn't make me feel bad on the spot, but these health issues, they can just drop on you suddenly, kind of sudden. You don't always get these slow warnings. I think most of the time you might, but that's not always the case, man. My health problems kind of hit me, I'd say, within less than a month time frame. That's when I ended up having all these. It was a pretty quick onset, man. So
what was it like?
That's all, man.
Were you like eating? Was this your normal diet, like the the fructose syrup? This was like your diet every day?
Yeah, I mean, I just grew up like the average American kid, eating
Oh,
fast
okay.
food,
Okay. Yeah.
at least once a day, stuff like that, But when I was in the military, a little, in Navy the first year, there was a bit of drinking and partying. I ain't gonna
Oh,
lie.
yeah. Yeah. But
But
all of it kind of. Well, I'm gonna comment on just because I got just because of time here. I'm gonna comment on that. I'm gonna make a little comment on that, but I'm gonna let you go. I appreciate tune in. I'm gonna make a last comment on that, and then I gotta move on. But thank you, Verisi. I
yeah, man.
appreciate
I'll
it.
holler at you next time. You take it easy.
All right, man. You too. Really quick. I realized this, and I'm gonna be brief. Is that our body is like muscle memory, right? So your body knows, because you ever notice how if you go to the bathroom, at a certain time of day, the next day your body kind of is preparing to do that again. The reason why that happens, in my opinion, is because your body likes a what do you call it? Not a rotation, but it likes a routine. Your body, exactly. Thanks, hey. Your body likes a routine, and because that's how it functions the best, off a routine. So your body knows what it's gonna do. So if you grow up eating a certain way, your body accepts it and adapts to that diet. So you're not gonna feel it. You're not gonna feel it, the pain or like the grossness or anything like that, because your body's getting used to it. It's adapting to those foods. But if you go like, let's just say 6 months of like clean eating, let's just say, right? And then you decide, this is not for me, and go back to your old ways, every little thing that you put into your body that you used to eat, like the bad stuff, your body is going to react to it, and it's going to shut down, and your immune system is going to tank because it starts to freak out, because your body now is so used to eating in a different way and producing what it needs in a different way. Same thing with working out. You work out long enough, eventually your body knows that this is what we're going to do. We work out every day, and you're going to get stronger and stronger, quicker and quicker. But when you try to if you do something long enough, a specific thing long enough, eating, let's say, donuts every day, after a while, your sickness is going to feel normal, and your body is going to digest it normally, and you're not even going to realize that you feel gross, right? So that's why you have to pay attention, because if you don't, like Avarency is mentioning, if you don't pay attention, that's when those things do creep up, those sicknesses and illnesses or whatever the case is, because we go unconscious when we're doing all these things. And we just continue to do the wrong things, eat the bad things, and our body just gets used to it. And next thing you know, you got some type of health issue. So if you pay attention and you work on it, then you can know when, you could feel it, and you can kind of adapt to it. That's just my opinion. Listen, they still haven't gave me my nutritionist badge. They still haven't gave me my expert medal. So I could be wrong. But that's just what I've learned, just paying attention to my the way my body is functioning. And Terry, I like donuts too, so I feel you on that. But donuts is anyway. I don't want to get carried away on that. We got some calls to take. Super chats. None of my mods reminded me. Where are my mods at? Oh, but then I see them throwing the links up, so I take it back because they working. Oh, Chris did do it. Chris did remind me. Nice. Anyway, let me go to some super chats real quick, and then I'll get back to the calls because we're running out of time here. Ay, ay, ay. Let me see. Of course, I'm signed out when I need to get to. Okay. We have Jitsu James. Hey Joel, quick, the ending song to the JLP podcast, the stand-up remix. Is that you rapping or did you mix it and produce it? I always thought it was a fire track. Haha. That is not me. I mean, that is me rapping at the end for the JLP outro song, Stand Up, but I did not produce it. That was produced by produced and sampled by Trevor Wesley. And he's also the guy that sings the second verse in the song. Live a life that you won't deny. Something like that. Stand up and be true. That's Trevor Wesley. And he produced it and sampled that song, that melody, or that, I don't know what you call it, that melody in the instrumental from a stand-up song previously that Jesse had a friend who actually sang that song. So that's how that came about. Why did that hurt my brain so much to explain? Jose Badadona says, congrats on your 100th episode, Joel. Keep up the great work. Amazing. Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Jose. Congrats on 100 episodes, says Emma with 3 donuts. Thank you, Emma. Great JLP Network team. Appreciate it, Emma. We're working. Kale Samogi with a super chat says, that song is amazing, Joel. Did you write your lyrics? Yes, sir. No ghostwriters here. Yeah. Fun fact. When I was younger, I used to really like to make music. So I used to write a bunch of songs and I used to go to parties and rap with my friends. I used to freestyle in the circle. And I used to have my whole notepad was just straight lyrics, straight bars. And I used to make little songs and send them to my dad because my dad used to be in a band. And yeah, I used to do that a lot. So, your boy can write a little bit. I used to write poems and all that stuff for the girls. Beta. Never got them, but I could write a poem. But thank you, Kale. Let me go to Jamie out of Minnesota. Jamie, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, how's it going, Joel?
Oh, it's Jaime.
Yeah, Jaime.
Jaime. How's it going, man? All is well.
Pretty good. Hey, I was listening to you guys talking about the people that got the mental issues, and drugs can do that too. I had a friend myself. He used to do the methamphetamines, and that messed him up pretty good. He did it before I knew him, but we were accountability buddies. We were getting off the junk and the alcohol.
Oh yeah.
But he was way, way different than me. You could really tell that he had not mental issues, but he'd go in and out of some sort of psychosis, some sort of strange thinking.
Yeah.
Sometimes he'd be normal-ish.
Yeah.
And then other times he would be off the rocker.
And that's true. The drugs add to that. They think that it's helping, but it also adds to that type of behavior.
Right. And, they got the marijuana out now, legalized in some states, and maybe you got to do the medical stuff and all that, but they're really messing up their brains.
Yeah.
And, the brain's a powerful, organ, and it can recover from a lot. But all you got to do is you got to stop.
Yeah.
And give it a chance to.
I think, what? Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jaime. Finish your point.
Like you said, eating right, eating, greens, vegetables, fruits, stuff like that, steak, chicken.
Yeah.
That helps out big time.
Yeah. And just eat normally and eat, when you're supposed to, and eat those things in the right way. And it doesn't even have to be crazy healthy, but just eat decently, cook, make your meals at home. All these things kind of help. But yeah, a lot of the times, and when it comes to the marijuana, I think that one's like the trickiest one because it comes in such a form. I think Nick talked about this before too, is it comes in such a form as if it's not that harmful. But I don't know if you remember, they used to have commercials on TV that said, don't smoke weed because it slows you down and makes you dumber. And it really does. It really does slow you down and kind of make you real low energy, real chill, real like spaced out and all these different things. And, there might be a purpose or a time to use it, you know what I mean, to where it's beneficial. But yeah, I think any reliance on anything tends to add more to your real problem, which is the disconnection from God.
Right. And I'm a coffee drinker. I love coffee. I drink it every day, And so it was your tolerance. Tolerance is really low.
What lowers your tolerance?
When you were talking about you ate some protein bar and
you had
caffeine in it, you found it. It's because you have a low tolerance for caffeine.
So what benefits do you see when it comes to coffee? Or do you think go ahead.
I like the taste.
Okay, but as far as like the caffeine, do you
No, there's nothing. I wanted like a caffeine hit, like a high like that.
Yeah.
I would drink a Red Bull.
Okay. So you drink the coffee for the taste. But do you see that coffee is just no different than any other thing that you can rely on, like weed or meth or?
No.
What? No what?
No. I don't see caffeine as something equal to that. No, I don't.
What? But
the reason I say that is I've never known anybody to go to jail for caffeine.
Right, but I mean, a lot of people don't go to jail for weed, but I'm talking about the reliance upon coffee for whatever satisfaction it brings you. Don't you see that it has that same effect, that it can have that same effect as that satisfaction any other drug or thing can bring another person?
That's interesting. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
Not really hard. I never really thought of it hard.
And I think and this is just my opinion, I think coffee is another one of those tricky things that slip in under the radar that we accept as normal. And I'm not saying that it's like a sin to drink coffee, but it does have like this like nice feeling and attachment to it that makes us drink it, but it doesn't always do good. As a matter of fact, it tends to do more than finding the natural energy of the morning. But just something to think about. Like
there's some drugs that people take and do that can mess up with your heart or your lungs. Cigarettes, the tobacco tars up your lungs. I don't know what nicotine does if it has an adverse effect, like to the brain.
Yeah.
That would be interesting to find. I should look that up. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I think all of it kind of has some type of effect on the body in general, and it's not really natural, and it kind of it gets in the way for us really finding the natural way of energy and satisfaction and all these things. So I think it kind of gets in the way, but it's just something that I just kind of thought about, and I could be wrong, but I'm so out of time, Jaime.
Yeah, if I could say one more thing. And nothing's a sin, even methamphetamine. They have a use for it. For heavily obese people that can't lose weight, they'll give them prescribed to reduce their weight.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's the issue of the heart, what's in your heart.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the issue. Thank you, Jaime. I appreciate it. Gotta go. Gotta end. Thank you guys. I'm so sorry, Rick and the others, that I can't get to. I planned on trying to squeeze everything in, but I just ran out of time. Shout out to the chat, everybody that's watching. Gotta go. American Egg Bigger Beats coming in right now. Joel Friday TV across the board. Subscribe and share and tell your peoples about the show so we can get the subscribers up and the message out, guys. I mean it. Help a brother out. Until next time, I'll be back here tomorrow, guys. I gotta go. Bye.